century and raise the bat. Now, thanks to everyone for the interaction last week. We had some great ideas on the feed. And I remember that you emailed the chain through to IT regarding the 5-star signatures for emails of franchisees.
Yep.
So hopefully that's not too far away, but that you did email that request. And the other one was actually Dave McDonald from Jim's Antennas up in Horsham on the live feed. When you said about stuff with your home, he actually emailed us after the show and said, I'll come down if you put me up for the night.
He's coming down, actually. I think
Wednesday.
Booked him next week.
Next week, Wednesday, he is coming down.
That's right. He's going to fix it.
And we're going to film it at Jim's house. He's going to fix your stuff, so it's really a lovely offer.
This will be great. This will be great. These headsets we've got, because we can't play it too loud in the evening because my son's next door. So we have these headsets and they go... you can hear it, but it's annoying.
So David's going to come down from Horsham next week. You're putting it up for the night. We're going to film it as well at your house. So if you need anything else about fixed around your house, Jim, say it tonight, and hopefully maybe a franchisee might come and we'll do a bit of content. But it's going to be a great bit of advertising, a bit of good old content, and we thank you for David and all the interaction as well. Last week was really, really great. It was, well, I reckon probably one of the best ones last week. You're doing German accent, Scottish accent. We had a multitude of questions and suggestions. So if you are a franchisor, leave a suggestion in the comments or question, or anyone in general. We'll get to it tonight because it's just Jim. Next week, we will have a guest back on and be live at the Foothills Conference Centre for training week.
Yep.
And we will have some gear there as well, like some stuff which we don't want to keep under the wraps now for a little bit. But we're going to show a little bit about that next week. And that's open to anyone as well from the general public. So if you are in Melbourne and you want to come meet Jim, please come along to the training.
That's very exciting. Jim's going green. Love that one.
We'll know more about that next week, and we'll let you know a lot more about it next week, actually. We'll do some posts maybe during the week about that. But Jim's going green is going to be a great little movement, and I think it's going to be great for the company moving forward. As always, guys, books to give away at the front, buyer history, every customer a raving fan, and obviously Jim's book. So 3 books. Please leave a comment or question. We'll get them signed at the end of the show. Obviously, new podcast released about the Jim's podcast. If you're not subscribed, search it for the Jim's Cast on iTunes, YouTube as well, or Spotify. It was about university and why you pretty much said, and why you're of the opinion that university is no good, which is ironic from someone with a PhD in history and wanting to be an academic. So that's a great one.
Well, I say there's no good. There's too much of it.
Yeah. So check that out. That was actually a really good one from Jim, and you can hear his thoughts about that and why. We've also put up the event today, finally, which is based on one of Sal's, who's a regular viewer. He's actually not involved in the Jim's group. He's a member of the public, about the dinner. So the Q&A dinner with Jim for $100 a head on the 9th of December, and all proceeds from the ticket go to Beyond Blue. So it's all going to Beyond Blue. I think we've put the quantity at around 30 tickets. So there's 30 tickets available. And we hope that if you are interested, anyone, please hit the event in the page and purchase a ticket and come along. We will keep it open as long as possible. It is subject to numbers as well. Yep. We don't want to run it if there's one or two people. So if you do want to come along, share it. We're going to put it in the client newsletter as well. But dinner with Jim, $100 to Beyond Blue, and Jim will sit with you on your table and however many people are there, and ask anything. You chat about whatever.
Yeah, well, as you know from this, I never refuse to answer a question.
There we go. And obviously, what we got here? Review. So we obviously read a review every week. So smash that share button or like button or tag the franchisee. Now we're reading a positive review from Jim's Building Inspections. So we obviously have more than 100 and something plus building inspections in Australia and New Zealand. And I love reading these reviews. This is from Danny from Product Review. And this was with a franchisee called Adam Liddell. So tag Adam Liddell. Extremely happy with my Jim's building inspection carried out by Adam Liddell. Not only did Adam fit me in the day after I called, he even let me know. He even let me follow him around the property and explain things to me in terms I could understand. Makes a lot of sense when you can actually see what he is talking about and points things out to you. He went through the entire apartment as well as the common area and car park. Extremely thorough. The inspection was done at 2 p.m. and I had my handwritten report, including photos and arrows pointing out things the next day to me by 8 a.m. Even a follow-up call that day asking if there was anything I wanted to go over. Now that's service. Lovely man, excellent service, highly recommend. And we get thousands or tens of thousands of those every year. So
I got to say, those building inspection guys are really, really good.
They are great. They're very. I know your wife uses one.
Yeah,
a lot.
she does.
Yeah,
she does.
Do you remember his name? Just to give him a bit of a shout
out. No. If you told me, I'd recognise it, but I can't remember. But he's great, and so many of these guys just do amazingly brilliant work. They're very good ratings too.
They are great.
Their star ratings tend to be mostly around 4.8, 4.9, which is pretty hard to achieve.
And they're the largest building inspection franchise in the Southern Hemisphere. I'm pretty confident in saying
largest building inspection company of any kind in the Southern Hemisphere. Absolutely.
Absolutely, and they're great. And Paul, we've had Paul Comfort on the show as well, so if you want to learn about Paul, and he's an inventor as well of many things, you can check one of the previous episodes on YouTube and obviously the podcast channel. So make sure, guys, you leave a comment or question for Jim tonight. Jim will answer anything that you put to him. And I've got one banked up from last week, which I want him to answer first as well. And now I'm just going to show you real quickly, Jim. We love sharing your stuff. We've had a heap of shareable content this week from many people, and I'll get to the feed and acknowledge them in a minute. We've had people doing barbecues. We've had people posting kids from Halloween dressed up as Jim. We've had a lot of different things. So make sure you use Jim's group, or you can share us by the page. Now, the one I'm going to run through first is this one here, which was a young kid over in WA called Bon, and his mother DM'd this to the Jim's Mowing page. So I'll show that to Jim. Pretty good little setup. So Bon's on the screen there from W. I don't know how old Bon is, but his mum sent us through. I'm actually going to send him a bucket hat too. So we're going to actually send him an official Jim's bucket hat because he's made a custom one there. So we're going to send him a Jim's bucket hat, and we'll get him doing that. So if you've got any images or stuff like that you want us to share, please send it to us. Now the next one, there's been a couple of interesting memes going up from a guy called Wolvie Warrior, who's a regular contributor and just does Jim's memes every week, and we love it. Now I wanted to show you this one, Jim. Now this is called the Jim's Final Smoko. Now, I know you're a religious man, and I know some people say Jim is a religion or a cult. So he's actually come here with a picture of you. As you can see, someone with Jesus, and replaced your face on it. And he's written a little bit of a, I don't know what you'd call that, a proverb or a psalm or something on there. So I know this might be a bit of, but I'll read this out. And he goes, and he took a Honda, and when he had finished Smoko, he broke it and gave it to them, saying, "This is me mower, which is given for thee. Do this in the name of franchisee." Then he took a bottle of 2-stroke oil, and when he had said, "You legends," he gave it to them, saying, "Mix the 4-stroke with it, all of you, for that you shall be by thou fuel foreth the mowers." So he's very creative.
I'm not sure how keen I am with that one.
Yes, I know. I had a bit of a risk reading that one out, but thanks to Wolvie Warrior. And he's done a nice little meme as well from the Mowinator. There's a new Terminator movie out.
Yeah, that's okay.
You like the Mowinator?
Yeah, Mowinator's fine.
Mowinator's a good one. So thanks for your work. And if you've got any social posts and all that stuff you've been sharing, you can obviously share it via our group as well. Jim's group has a Facebook group called Social Posts. We have members in there posting all the time, and you can get great instant feedback from everyone. All right, now let's get into the questions that are on the live feed. So last week we had a viewer who's watched a few, and he left a bit of a tough reply to you during the week, and I deliberately left it because I want you to answer it for him. So just bear with me, okay?
So, never give me any warning of these.
No, I've given you no warning. I've given you no warning. I wanted to reply during the week, but I thought, no, I'll leave this for Jim. So last week, it was from Wayne Mason. He's watched a couple. So thank you, Wayne. And he's very passionate about his industry. He's gone. The question he asked you was, do carpet cleaning franchises get certified via the IRCRC or equivalent? And you gave an answer, but then he's responded during the week on the comments feed. And he's gone, unfortunately, Jim's response showed naivety. It is not government accreditation. It is industry standards. Other companies such as Electro Dry, Chem Dry, as well as independents like Jumbuck Cleaning and Summerhill Cleaning, use outsourced training schools to educate and raise cleaning professionalism. For a number of weeks now, I've been watching your webcast, and Jim has shown that he only cares about franchisees and franchisees being happy making money. Yet they are better trained. That includes outsourced training such as IICRC courses that will improve quality of work due to higher standards, greater industry knowledge including cleaning as well as chemistry, which then increases turnover. I say this as an industry professional with over 20 years experience that is certified and qualified through the IICRC for carpet, upholstery, stain, tile, hardwood, floor and mould. Thanks for that response, Wayne, and thanks for watching.
Well, actually, when you say I'm only interested in franchisees, that's not entirely correct. My first priority is always franchisees, but to keep franchisees happy, you have to keep clients happy, because if you don't do that, the work doesn't come in. Our attitude towards training is very much based on what customers think. I don't so much care whether the government or some industry body thinks it's great. I think, what do my customers think? And what I do know is that we have very, very few issues with carpet cleaning.
Yes.
It's about the only one I ever get. And don't forget, I actually go through just about every complaint every day. So I'm very familiar with what's going on. Now, just as an example of the other side, we had a problem with pest control. Last year, we were getting issues with pest control jobs. We actually revamped our entire training to make
this was the inspection side of it, wasn't it? The inspection side, or was it with the actual jobs?
There were certain issues with the question of whether people were being trained to do pest control. I know one issue was the building and inspections guys were actually not, they were doing termites they weren't qualified for. And we were getting issues with this. We were getting insurance claims, and there were some serious problems arising. So we actually revamped the training. We made sure it was more appropriate. So in a sense, yes, it's great for the government. It's great for the industry to be happy with what we're doing. But the main thing is, are our clients happy? And on the whole, they are. We get very, very, very few complaints. Another example is fencing. We have a fencing system which is 8 weeks practical on the road. It is remarkably good course because our fencing jobs are guaranteed, and we'll fix them if something goes wrong up to 5 years. So we jolly well know when there's a fence badly put up, and they actually do an extremely good job. Now you might come to me and say we should go to the government or we should go to the industry body, but what we want is the best response to our clients.
Yeah, I think I looked up I actually looked up the star rating online by Product Review and other sources, and I think it was like 4.9 stars out of something surveys, which is why I sort of felt, well, the customers seem to be happy, so whatever they're doing seems to be working, or they're doing a good job.
You get very, very occasional jobs. The biggest complaint about carpet cleaning is that the carpet can be wet after a time.
Yes.
But I mean, these are a tiny fraction of the numbers that go through.
Yeah.
Occasionally they say they can't get spots out, but it's things like the fact that you've got like ink in the carpet. Well, you can't remove ink from a carpet. You just can't. There's nothing that will do it. You can get blood, you can get tomato sauce, you can't get ink out. So sometimes people get upset about things which is just completely impossible. But on the whole, we get a very, very good response. So as long as my clients are happy.
And the head of carpet cleaning is a guy called Ross Vicara, or I think he's a franchise on Victoria. Obviously, I think
he's the Victorian.
Harley's head. We've got an interview with him, but he's been in it for 20-something years like yourself, Wayne, and obviously you're very passionate about it. Look, I think any extra training they want to do in their own fruition, obviously, for anyone, like I know I'm doing a course at the moment myself, is always good and can help you obviously earn more. But I think based on the surveys and the responses you said, that's when you look at it, isn't it? Let's say if it was started declining, the star rating or whatever went down, you maybe look at it objectively and go, well, maybe we need to do something here.
Yeah. Well, look, how many CEOs in my position, I mean, would be looking at virtually every complaint on a daily basis to see what the issues are. And they actually tag them as being poor work or trying to get back or not giving a quote or whatever it happens to be, and then looks at it and see why is it happening. I keep an extremely careful eye on these things. And I can tell you the carpet training is good.
Yeah, and they also have that franchisor support, like daily. Call them up. Can you help me with this? Come out, do this. So they have that on-site trainer. But I can see the value of it. But I think it'd be changing the surveys, isn't it? If the job dropping.
I have a lot of problem with formal qualifications. I think sometimes there's too many things. It's all about, are people qualified? Like, for example, and this is getting back to the education question, is a person qualified to be a teacher? Well, maybe it's good to have a bit of training in advance. But the question is, are they a good teacher?
It's true.
And somebody will say, no, this guy's a lousy teacher, but he's qualified, so he's fine. He can teach kids for the next 30 years and nobody's going to say anything because he's unsackable because he's qualified. To me, that's the wrong attitude. The question is, how good is he with the kids or she with the kids? And the same thing with any training. Is it working? Is it looking after our customers? Because if you look after customers well, then they come back to you. And we had 180,000 unserviced leads last year because our service is very good. And in fact, we just can't keep up with the demand. And
I wouldn't be surprised, Wayne, if some franchisees within carpet cleaning might be going and do their own training. They might actually go and do this course on their own. We don't know.
No.
We wouldn't know. But
I have no idea.
But thanks for Wayne. Thanks for that reply as well. I want to leave that for Jim. We love a bit of challenging stuff for Jim, so please leave some challenging comments or questions in there for Jim. I know you enjoy the challenging ones a bit more than the easy ones. All right, so let's get through some comments and questions. So Caleb Templeman's tuned in. So hi to Caleb, he tunes in every week. Now G Casey's a franchisee and her and a partner from Jim's Fencing, and hi Jim and Joel, Georgina and Leon from Jim's Fencing in Redcliffe. We held a community barbecue at Clontarf Beach State School last week. What are your favourite ways to get involved with the community? Question mark. Great question, and we did share a picture of Georgina and Leon up there as well. And Leon looks like you actually, like the logo. He's got a massive beard, and we're going to put that one up as well. So thanks for sending that through to us, Georgina.
No, it's always nice. Actually, the thing I liked the best that we did was these random acts of maintenance, where we actually go to somebody's house who's got, like this guy who was killed trying to protect somebody in a domestic quarrel, and his widow's left there.
Yes.
And we all went in there and we fixed the whole place up, the landscaping and the fence and just in decking, all this amazing amount of work. I mean, that was...
Do you think we should do that again?
I love it, actually. It's a lot of work to organise.
It's a massive amount of work.
But I love that because it was such a worthy cause. You really felt for this poor woman who's left desolate, and the fact that we could do this for her, it doesn't make up for her husband or even in a fraction, but my goodness.
That can help.
I mean, there's people who put their lives at risk. I love to do something. I always have a reference to people, like people, soldiers who serve overseas, for example. Yeah. To me, or even like policemen who risk their lives to defend the community. I think there's a lot of people around who I wish we could do more for them.
What about you personally? Obviously, you're involved in your church a lot. What about you personally?
No, I don't really have an involvement with the community as such. you know, I feel that God's given me a certain mission, and part of that is to look after my franchisees. That is my community in a sense. I have a very tribal view of my franchisees, a great sense of loyalty to them. It's kind of like family, and then my franchisees, and then everybody else. Kind of that's how I look at it. So, and I get very involved. I spend a lot of my time on those kinds of issues. That really is my community. But as far as that, my greater, I do have a sense of obligation to my country and the human race as well, and this is to do with my research.
Yeah, and that's where a lot of the money. Yeah,
I think that's where I can most likely contribute.
Yeah, because we do get asked a lot for sponsorships and stuff and community sponsorships, Casey. But sorry, Georgine. But I know Jim, obviously, you always like that. Research is what I'm putting all that. But I know a lot of the franchisors and Z's, like yourself, obviously organise heaps of local events supporting schools and charities and sporting clubs. You know, we got Ben Ward in Geelong sponsors a intellectually challenged football team, the Geelong Dragons, as well,
which is nice,
which is great. And they do that, and so a lot of franchisors and Z's. And if by all means, please do more of it. Me personally, I'm shocking. I need to get involved in that.
I think it's also important to understand the way Jim's works is very decentralised. The vast majority of the money is actually
with the regionals.
With the franchisees, of course, first they get like 92% or whatever of the income, and then most of what goes to the regional franchisors. The advertising is controlled by them too, so there's not a lot of actual money that comes back to us. And as I said, what I have goes into my research project, and that's what I'm called to do.
But I've written down random acts of maintenance again, so maybe we can revisit that again, Georgine. So thanks for that question and comment on the.
But bear in mind, I was involved in that, and I went and talked, but I didn't pay for it. It was all paid for by franchisees contributing their time and money and their time and.
Well, I think we should do it now. I think we should do it again, and maybe early next year we can organise that. I'll have to organise with people, and we can get out there and film the whole thing, and away we go. I think it's a great one. We can pick servicemen or something like that, which would be a good one.
Yeah, I think if you had somebody who's say the husband died in Iraq or something like that.
If you think there's anyone who deserves something, maybe let us know. Yeah. We're happy to take suggestions, and we can organise something for next year. Okay, Brendan Raggett's tuned in from one of the other, I think the Jim's Mowing live feed. So hi, Brendan Raggett, Mowing regional franchisor from Sunshine Coast. Always interesting viewing. So thank you for watching,
guy.
Brendan. You like Brendan?
He's a great guy. He's a great franchisor.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. And let us know with a comment or a like or a share. Smash that share button. Helps with the feed and obviously get Jim's message around. Okay, so David McDonald's gone here for you to write a list. David McDonald's obviously coming down to the antennas, but is there anything else you need at your home? The pool, whatever else you need, write a list. And,
I don't know what you can do with my pool. No, Jim's pool care looks after my pool pretty well, and the
dog gets looked after. We're going to film the dog.
Dog by dog wash.
We're going to film the next dog wash.
You could film the dog getting...
We're going to film the next dog wash.
Trying to bite the person who does it, so you can take rid of this dog.
We're going to film that.
Stuff, and who else do we get?
What about our mowing franchisee to do your backyard renovation? That's out of control. That's a jungle.
Oh, I like a jungle.
You like a jungle, right?
It's just a lot of bush, really. I mean, he wants a manicured 5 acres.
Obviously, Lee uses building inspections as well, so there's heaps of people. But yeah, I'm sure we'll film the antennas, and if people see it and like it, and you want to. Hopefully, we can film the dog wash and other services. We can do some stuff, but maybe the random acts of maintenance is what we want to work.
I get my IT guys tend to do a lot of stuff too because they're just next door. So if something goes wrong with the feed, because when I work from home, all the electronics go back and forth. They're very clever the way they've got it wirelessly done.
That's very true.
So they come over and troubleshoot for us.
Now Shane Charnstrom's gone with the comment here. So hi to Shane, your regional franchisor. Hi Jim, I had a situation this week regarding an insurance claim from a client that one of my franchisees cleaned for. This was the first time I was aware of it. Question mark.
What's your question?
So maybe it's a question about the notification process, Shane, or something. Maybe if you want to put a reply there, I'll read it out to Jim. But his franchisee's had a claim, and I think maybe they were supposed to be notified at the same time, maybe with the cleaning division. I don't know. Maybe put that in the reply.
I know Haydar asked to have
claims.
He wants to be told about all the claims. I'm surprised the franchisors don't know about it too. We probably should.
Yeah.
If we don't do it, we should do it. Actually, we should let people know.
So you can either reply on that one. Yeah, either reply on that one. Shame.
Because I know one of the reasons that Haydar wants to know about it because the claims are horrifying in cleaning, and they just keep on going up. And so what he wants to be able to do is to change the training to stop certain claims from taking place. So you can really stress down and say, okay, use the right chemicals on this surface.
Which they've done before. Which they changed.
They have done, and they actually did have a reduction in claims as a result. So it's very important that we feed this information back.
Yes, let us know, Shane. Sharon Connell's gone, hi Jim and Joel. So hi to Sharon.
Hi, Sharon.
one of your favourites as well.
She is too. She's selling dog wash franchises. She's magnificent.
She does. She's sold the most in history, I reckon, by a mile.
Yeah.
Colin Harper's gone here. This is a good question for you, Jim. Jim likes the outdoors, so why does he run inside? Question mark from Colin Harper. And take that step and become a Jim's Mowing franchisee, Colin. I think you're in New South Wales.
No, it's just very, very predictable actually. When I'm on the farm, I run around a lot, and but yeah, just inside, you can all weathers. It's just easy. It's there.
So for you, it's a convenience thing. It's not that you don't want to do it; it's just convenience.
Yeah, it's very convenient. Look, to be honest, I'd rather do anything else than run on a treadmill. But like today, I was playing squash with Leo, which is great. We got to four each, so I've got a really good. Leo's been our sales team, so he and I are very, very close. And that was really fun. We played for an hour, and I was just about staggering out of it. So that was fun. If I could, I'd do it every day. I'd work on my farm, or I'd play squash, or do something different. But if I can't, on the treadmill.
That's the answer there for you, Colin, and thanks for tuning in. Now, Bailey's gone here. Bailey was from last week about buying a franchise. Sorry, won't be coming on board. Have no finances, so can't pay the franchise amount. Otherwise, it'd be on board straight away.
Yes, that's always a problem, isn't it? We'd love to have you, but just put it on the back burner and work on your finances.
I think from the sounds of it, Bailey, I think you're pretty young. Let us know your age as well. There's plenty of time to work towards. I know people might work towards it a couple of years or a year to do what they need to do, but.
Well, look, people have got to try and buy a house these days, and buy a house, you've got to have like $150,000 deposit.
Yeah,
we're not actually talking about that kind of money, with finance, and you might be paying $20,000, $25,000, $30,000 or something like that. So it's a lot less. And then, of course, once you've got that, the opportunity is to build your wealth so that you can afford to buy a house, which a lot of people can't these days. So, yeah, I think there's really nothing more affordable around.
That's true. G. Casey's gone here. We're currently in our second week of fencing training, and our training has been incredible.
Yeah,
that's great to hear. The fencing training is renowned for being really, really good.
It is good too, actually. At one stage, we let the handyman do fences, and shut that down very quickly. We got more complaints in a month than we had in the previous 5 years. No more. You do the full fencing training, or you don't get build a fence in gyms.
They are very specialist. And Haydar Hussein is tuning in saying hi guys, and he's got the top fan badge on him because it means he interacts with our stuff, which is great. We appreciate Haydar doing that.
Back from Cyprus. I've just spoke.
Is he back from Cyprus?
Yeah, he's back from Cyprus.
He's back to this lovely weather, isn't he?
Yes. Thanks
for watching, Haydar, and thanks.
Really determined to make this clean division work.
No, he's a gun. He'll definitely do it.
Yep.
If you want to find out about Haydar as well, check to the YouTube channel, podcast videos with Haydar about his business as well. It's really interesting to watch. Dave McDonald's gone here. Open question. I was thinking today that it took me about 5 jobs to find the one I actually love. It would be nice to have a system that could qualify a student for the type of work that best suited them for.
Yeah, you're right, actually. It would be great. And I think if we understood character better, we'd actually know more about that. But the trouble is, too, people get sucked in by the wrong things. Like they think I'll do some prestigious white-collar thing like being an accountant or a lawyer. And they're not actually very happy professions. So there's this discrimination against manual labour. One thing I'm very proud of, in fact, I've got calluses on my hands from my farm.
They are very calloused, actually. I don't know if you can hold them up, maybe.
Not too many people have this. You can actually see the
They're pretty calloused, yeah.
How they have calloused hands these days. I always just loved it when I was mowing lawns. I have very rough hands. It's probably aged me a lot too. It's why I look at least my age or more because I've been out in the sun so much. But yeah, I think the trouble is too, I think people tend to change too much. People change jobs about every 5 years. And the trouble is you just learn to do something and then you decide to try something else and then you learn to do that and you try something else and you change from job to job to job to job. And I think one of the reasons that I've been, had some measure of success is that I stick to the same thing. Like fundamentally, I haven't done anything different since I was 30. Now, in the beginning, I was pushing a lawnmower around and then I had workers and then I had friends. But it's the same business. So I've learned a lot. And if I'd have kept on changing every 5 years, looking for greener pastures, I never would have achieved as much. So sometimes where you are is the best place to be, especially if you're in your own business, I've got to say, of course.
I mean, the parents have a lot to do with it, I guess. The parents shape the views of the child, and if you've got some particular cultures would like to push their kids to maybe doctor or lawyer, and that's it, not actually what are you interested in. Maybe if someone follow their interests as a kid, and they'll make it work no matter what. If it's music, art, whatever it is.
Look, it's tough to find, but there are the academic grind is pretty strong. Like my daughter Jasmine, she's a great student, got a great ATAR. I was going to be a lawyer, went to Melbourne University, decided she didn't like law, which was a good decision, and she went into classics and stuff, which she's good at, and she was reading Aeneid and the original Virgil, which is amazing too. I love what they do there. And then she's halfway through doing a master's degree in something to do with art curating or something like that.
Art curation, yeah.
Yeah, but fundamentally, Jasmine is actually, she's got a real mind for business. She's just brilliant that way, and she's the best hope for running gyms one day of all my children. And I think she's just come to realise that's where she's at. But she's only like 22.
Yeah, she's young.
She's young, and she's fantastic. Everything she gets into it, she makes a great success of. She's great at selling. She's great at organising things. She's got great ideas.
Well, I think entrepreneurship, Dave, is becoming a lot more popular due to blokes like Gary Vee and those sort of people like Kerwin Ray and Jack Delosis. So I think I'm hoping entrepreneurship, a lot more young people can sort of go and make a business out of it as opposed to going.
I do think people overemphasize the formal careers too much. The training, the lawyer, the accountant, the doctor, the dentist. I did commerce as a degree. Yeah, well, even business training has not a lot to do with business success. You do business training to become a corporate executive, but to me, being an entrepreneur has nothing to do with the kind of stuff they teach you there. Really,
yeah, it's true.
I wish people would look at the opportunities that are sitting underneath them. I really do. Get away from these stupid prejudices against manual work, and you know, what do you love to do? To me, being in business for yourself, obviously, I just love it. I mean, it's just great. It's the flexibility. It's the lifestyle. It's the fact that you can work the hours you want. You can do the things that interest you. And you can constantly improve what you do and get better at what you do. And nobody's ever going to tell me to retire. They might like to, but I get no choice.
Not happening. Not happening.
I own the company, so it's just fantastic. I can work from home. I often work from home, and I work pretty weird hours. I can be up to emails at 2 in the morning. Sometimes you'll see that kind of stuff. If I'm getting up and I just on my computer doing this and this and this.
But if you are thinking about it, there's a lot of opportunities within the gyms family. So all the services, pick something.
Or even not in gyms, even doing anything else. I mean, a lot of my most successful people actually aren't with us anymore. They're people who've actually started with gyms and gone on to fantastic businesses in different areas, like property development and nurseries and you know, really, really successful businesses. But gyms was their way in. Now, I'd love people to be able to grow through us, and that does happen. And we've got, you know, quite a few gyms, multi-millionaires out there. But a lot of the most successful people are people who actually with it for a while and got the basis, the capital, the experience, the training, and then moved on to do incredible things. I think the world is full of it. I mean, I reckon if you talk about educational institutions, I reckon gyms does a lot better than most universities.
Yeah?
Really, yeah, I really do.
It'd be actually interesting to see the income they would.
Training people to actually succeed in the world, I think our training system, even though it's just, you know, just a few days in an office and then ongoing training and mentoring and support in the field, I think we give very, very good training. Far better value than a lot of courses.
I think the support in the field for me is the main one, looking at it as a objective part.
Because you never learn anything at once. You don't just learn to be a teacher for 1 year and then you're a perfect teacher. Doing something well is learning always.
Well, that's true. And I know from when we post stuff with franchisors, I remember a good one was Des Warren. We posted his course and we had blokes, you know, love Des. Des was great for me 5 years ago or 10 years ago, coming out of the woodwork when they see it. So the franchisors are a great part of it.
Yeah, constant learning. That's what we say to any franchisee. What you learn when you come in and do our initial course, that's just the beginning. And you can just do that and you can grow your business to a stage and then you can level off and do the same forever. But what we'd really like you to do is to just keep on growing and growing and growing and growing and growing and keep on getting better and learning and changing and developing what you do. And if you keep on doing that, I mean, where's the upper limit? It's massive.
Thanks for that one, David. I'm sorry to cut you short because I just want to get through a lot of questions and comments that are coming on. There's like 20 comments that are on there, so we could go on that one for ages. But that's a great one.
Get me on of education, and I will talk a lot.
And you watch the podcast as well where Jim talks about it. Eric Jurgens has gone here. Eric Jurgens, sorry. Hey guys, looking forward to seeing you at the training next week from Mobile Cafe's top fan badge, and I'll post your video soon. It's thanks to Gyms, so remember video@gyms.net if you've got one. Then Haydar is saying, we posted something during the week about Gyms Cleaning Group doing the blood donations. So Haydar's gone, the blood bank donations have saved many lives, honoured to be involved. I think it's like 160 something plus lives they've saved with blood and plasma donations to the Red Cross Australia from the cleaning group.
Wonderful.
So we posted that infographic, I think, yesterday or the day before. That's awesome. That's actually a great initiative.
That is a great community service.
That's really good. That's great. So we posted that during the week.
I like giving blood, but I tend to faint at the needles. So
you don't like needles, do you?
For me, oh no, I don't like them
really?
at all. I remember trying to give blood, I kind of like fainted, and I said, I'm fine. And he said, no, you can't get blood. And I said, no, I'm just scared of needles. You can take it out of me. I'm just scared of them. But they wouldn't let me because I'd fainted. It's just fear. That's all.
There we go. So the next, Dan Cahill's gone. Dan Cahill was a guest on Jim before. Hi, Jim and Joel. How do you decide which new division you will take on and allow to use your branding? And how much do you charge someone that wants to use the Jim's brand for a new division? Question mark.
Oh, you're having some minds, are you?
Dan's might be thinking about something, right?
Okay. First of all, we look for a successful business that's making good money, and the basic line is you've got to be able to make at least $60 an hour. That's fundamental. You look for the right person more than anything. It's not difficult to find the right business. Finding the right person who's able to drive it is a great deal harder. In terms of the cost, it's actually pretty minor. I mean,
it's a lot cheaper now than what it used to be.
Yeah. Well, look, a typical cost is like $20,000 to buy regional franchise rights. I mean, we don't really charge anything more than that. But you've got to actually do your training, which is a couple of thousand more, especially if there's accommodation and stuff, and then you've got to get your signage done and so forth. But it's really not a big investment up front for divisions like multi-million-dollar divisions like cleaning and antennas and stuff. They all started much the same way. With a very, very minor investment, but there's a lot of sweat equity goes into it. So you've got the you've got to write the manual, and you've got to help design the website. We'll help you with that kind of stuff, and then just putting the whole thing together and developing the business system it's more sweat equity than money.
The great ones to watch, Dan, is Paul Comerford on the Jim's interviews on YouTube. Paul Comerford started in 2011 building inspections, right? He actually tells you how he went from market research to actually doing the division with Jim. So Jim is it's always that divisional. If the divisional is good, no matter what the service is, it will work.
Yes.
So if you're thinking of doing something, Dan, you'd be great.
The best divisions have the best leaders.
That's true.
It's overwhelmingly the case.
Exactly
and that's finding great people. The great thing about Jim's is we've got so many great people. You've got nearly 4,000 franchisees out there, and we have some tremendous entrepreneurial talent. So we are looking at ways to draw people in to gain their talents and their ideas.
And you'd be perfect to do something, Dan.
People often come to us with an idea for a business, and it's not the idea; it's the actual business itself. It's the model. How do you advertise it? What do you charge? What services do you offer? And how do you do them? What sort of machinery do you use? What sort of equipment do you use? Those kinds of questions are the hard ones, and then take it from there.
All the manuals, all that sort of stuff as well. But it's pretty low cost to entry for someone who wants to start a new division now, Dan. So if you're thinking about it, let us know. We liked the model, which is not a huge upfront cost. Yes.
But good franchising makes your money out of the ongoing fees.
But allows that person to invest a lot more into the upfront stuff, the training and all that sort of stuff as well. Sal John's gone here, the top fan as well. So Sal's the one who goes to the idea for the dinner. Hey, Jim and Joel, have you guys noticed a decrease in some services, especially November and December? But come January, business booms? ?
No, not really.
No decrease? No.
Well, mostly, it depends on the area. Mostly spring is the busiest time of anything. Right now, September, October, November.
They're flat out.
It's frantic.
But December, people want their place to look nice as well. So coming up to Christmas can be flat out as well.
Yeah, well, a lot of lawn mowing obviously is big, but then it depends on where you are. If you're in like southern states, then spring's the busiest time. But if you're in like New South Wales, Queensland, it tends to be during the summer because they have a wet and dry type of. So it's a different arrangement.
It depends where you are.
Spring tends to be good. If anything, winter is a little bit quieter, but.
Well, winter being used as a time to work on your business, though, right? You can work in other areas of your business, maybe get that in order.
Yeah. Well, if you have got a quiet time, it's an opportunity to upsell to different kinds of jobs. Like for mowing guys, things like rows prunings and drainage systems and all the rest of it. But also, if you want to take a holiday, don't take it in spring when you're busy. Take it in the middle of winter and go out to Queensland for a few weeks.
Now go to Europe, get in the nice European summer over there. Go to Cyprus or Haydar's.
Not as adventurous as you, Joel.
And Eric Jurgens has gone, a great way to help is to volunteer at your local CFAs. We're always looking for new volunteers. I know Eric volunteers at CFA.
CFA is wonderful. I love those community groups. It's fantastic. My brother was a big volunteer for CFA for many years.
Now, G. Casey's gone here. Thanks, Jim and Joel. Would love to look into that for sure. It's a great feeling to help those in need. Well, that'd be great to know. And I'd love to do an Australia-wide one. I know we only did it at one place, but if it could be coordinated in a way where there was one in each state and we could feature it, that'd be pretty cool as well.
There is a huge amount of work involved, I can tell you.
There is.
I know. I think it was Building Inspections did it last time.
They did do it last time.
And did a great job, but there's a lot to it.
I think we can maybe look at doing. I think they went for it was a really well produced one and stuff. Maybe we could do it maybe at a lower, like a less. I don't know. We can look into it, but we're definitely going to look at something. So appreciate that one. So you've gone here on the feed. There's been some changes regarding the Formatize app that franchisees can use. Can you clarify that for the other franchisees and franchisors watching who may not be aware of what's going on? Question mark. That's a very timely question, you.
Okay.
Very, very timely question.
Okay. We were paying basically all the technology fee to Formatize, but the trouble is most franchisees aren't using Formatize. For all kinds of reasons. In fact, a lot more of them using Jim's Jobs than Formatize. So what we said was this: as the 1st of November, we finish off the contract where we give all the technology fee, but we'll pay for anybody who wants to keep using it. So if you're using it already, we'll pay the cost. It's actually, the cost is a lot more than the technology fee, but
That's true.
We're wearing the difference. So we asked everybody to put their names in, and we've got a big list. It's something over 500 franchisees on this list. And we'll pay for it. So that's what we've done. We've arranged it with Formatize with Matt there, and he's been fine. It worked out well with him, and it's going on good. And we'll continue to work, and that's going to go on until Jim's Jobs is ready for action, which will be a few more months. The way things are looking now, to have something that's really a great program. Jim's Jobs is getting better all the time, and it'll do a lot of stuff now, but it hasn't got quite the same features in terms of being fully mobile as Formatize does yet. So we'll just simply pay for it for those who are using it. Encourage people to go on Jim's Jobs. Some franchisees have also chosen to pay Formatize direct, which is fine by me because that actually it saves me money when they do that. In that case, we just waive in their technology fee.
Yep. Okay, and there's obviously something in the newsletter going out, which will be going out tomorrow as well.
Yes, it was all in last month's newsletter.
Yeah, it'll go out again tomorrow.
If anybody's watching this, please read the newsletters. My goodness, we get so many questions from people who don't read newsletters, and it takes you about 2 minutes to
And it's a video newsletter now too, guys.
And a video newsletter.
Yes.
You don't have to read anything. You just get to listen to me talking.
Now Haydar's gone on here. He replied to Shane regarding the insurance question. Says, this was agreed but yet to happen, question mark. I will chase this up. So Haydar's going to follow that up. It hasn't been happening.
What, is Haydar not getting the responses?
Yeah, I think here Haydar's not. Maybe I don't think Haydar's getting notified.
Well, Yadrin told me he was giving Haydar the information, so I don't know.
Well, we'll have to follow that up, Haydar. But thanks for putting it on there.
Haydar, if you're not getting it, let me know, because you should be getting every claimant that comes in.
There we go. And then David McDonald's gone, where you are is the best place to be. Best advice ever. Where you are is the best place to be. Best advice ever. Interesting comment. Thanks for putting that one on there, David. That's awesome.
Yeah, sometimes you want to change it, but certainly changing too much is a real issue. I think people get restless. It's known as grass is greener. The other side of the fence always looks better than your side of the fence.
True.
But in actual fact, when it comes to learning skills, it's actually, you'll learn a lot from where you are. If you can develop from where you are to something slightly different, it's a great way of going.
That's true. All right, we've got a lot of great comments and questions on the feed, which is awesome. Keep putting them into the Gyms Group 1. If you're watching on the other pages, we're not ignoring you. Just put them into the Gyms Group 1, or Jake will try and scan and get to them. Remember to smash that like, share button, or comment. We're getting to a lot tonight. Jason Pollock, who's a top fan as well, has gone, evening all. Great job by Jake with the Day on the Road with Nate. So we've done a pool care Day on the Road release on Sunday, and Jake went out with Nate Seabrook, who's in Diamond Creek. So Jake's behind the camera, and he stepped in and went out for a 40-minute video, just with a day in the life of a pool care franchise owner. And that was great. So thanks to Nate and the pool care guys.
Those are fun, those ones. They really are.
We want to do more. So if you've got a
real
friend,
life, and we should be going through every division eventually, and day in the life.
I think it's the best version of an info pack. Why read about it, and we can have time to prepare with Eva. Just watch an authentic video, which is pretty authentic. It's not really 40-50 minutes. Just see what it's like and come for a trial.
And then
day.
if somebody likes what they do, then they should actually go out and spend a couple of days doing it themselves.
Trial day, exactly right.
The hang of it.
Do the trial day, exactly right.
I'd never suggest to anybody buy a business so they haven't really thoroughly looked at what's involved and how much work there is and what kind of work. And you've got to enjoy doing it. You've got to love what you do.
If you're a division or franchise owner, please put forward a franchisee for the Day on the Road. We'd love to do it. We've done mowing, we've done pool care. I would love to go through, work our way down more.
Have we done dog wash yet? Yeah.
Not yet, no. I think we tried to, but I think there was some timing issues. So we're going to work our way down. So please put forward franchisees. It's very easy to do. Steve Walkham's gone, hi from the Hume Highway between Sydney and Canberra. So Steve must be on the road from the Jim's Cleaning Group. So g'day, Steve, and thanks for tuning in. Vince has tuned in. Can never stop learning. Great work, Jim. Vince from Jim's Home Fresh Deliveries.
Oh yeah.
So we have the box in the office.
We're loving the fruit, Vince. We love it.
I post that all the time, and I should get a check in the mail, but that goes off on social media. People love that. We actually got asked if you're operating in Brisbane yet. So
we got 2 boxes delivered to our main office, and they split them up amongst the different divisions. And they love it. Actually, I noticed a lot less chocolate and stuff going around the place, and I want my staff to be fit and healthy.
Well, I'm very annoyed because some of the divisional managers are bringing in bad food again. and they need to stop it. It's
Oh dear, whenever I catch them with the chocolate biscuits, I say, tut, 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 and I'll just take one so I don't tempt anybody else.
We'll be giving them breach notices, don't worry about that. We'll breach them on something. So I've got a question from one of the other live feeds here, which is gone, Ryan Christopher's gone, hey Jim and Joel, would like to ask Jim, what are the success rates for a franchisee starting in around regional WA towns compared to heavily populated areas of Vic and New South Wales, and thinking about investing in a fencing franchise in a town with 13,000 households? Thanks. That's actually a really good question.
It is, but I could answer that by looking at the area.
Unserviced.
And what I want to know about Vince is the unserviced leads. And also, in a situation where there isn't quite enough work locally, how far away from Perth are you? Because I know there's stacks of unserviced leads in Perth. So it might be a situation where you've got to travel an hour to get into Perth just to get going. And then as you get more work locally, then you can take your business back.
I would say email Jim at jims.net as well for the unserviced lead report in the area, in the town you're thinking of.
If you email me, I'll actually send you, I'll print the list out.
Yeah.
And that honestly is the best thing. If you've got unserviced leads in the area where you are, you know that lack of work's not going to be an issue. In fact, relatively few franchisees in gyms fail for lack of work, especially if they do the pay for work guarantee, offer the freebies. Failure is almost always to do with things like poor customer service or just general slackness, not wanting to do the thing, not wanting to offer freebies when you need to. Generally speaking, most franchisees get fairly busy fairly quickly.
Especially in fencing as well. It's one of the highest unserviced.
Fencing is high. Things like handyman is a lot of work, but bath resurfacing, mowing generally tends to be very busy.
Lots of divisions.
There's some divisions that do a little bit more effort, like computer services, one example.
Yep.
You do need to have a good marketing campaign for that one. Bookkeeping needs a bit of effort. We're trying to actually get a computer services guys to come to training and actually show all these prospects coming through. We're probably get about 90 next week coming through and show them what you can do for them.
I've liaised with the divisional and said what to do, so I'm hoping they put that in place and we have someone here on either Tuesday next week or Wednesday. Yeah. So if you are watching from Jim's Computers, please come.
Because we always like to promote each other. You know, you want to get different. One of the things I'm proposing to advisory committee is that we actually give people a kind of a credit if you use another gym's service. Actually use it. Then
that's a new one.
You get a free lead.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say it to the franchisors.
There we go. It's a good one. That's interesting.
We're actually saying to Gyms Plus people, this is all the people who are, when we pass job to independent contractors, we actually charge them the lead fee. But what I'm saying to them when we got the programming done is, if you want to book any service with any of our 50 odd divisions, you get the job done, we'll give you a free lead.
Well, this is why you got to watch Jim's live every week, because this is a completely new thing which I've been just hearing about for the first time as well.
No, we just come up with that too. And I mean, the perfect arrangement would be that if we could give away 180,000 leads we can't handle, instead of getting money for it, we get 180,000 more jobs done by our franchisees. Wouldn't that be fantastic? I mean, we couldn't cope with them right now, but that would be the perfect answer, to swap the leads we can't handle for jobs where we need them when we need them.
That would be great. I'm going to keep smashing through these comments here, Jim, because a lot of people are commenting and want to get through as many. So Janelle Rumford's gone hi from Dave and Janelle on the Hume Highway behind Steve. So they both must be coming down. It's from franchisors from Dog Wash and Cleaning. Matthew Dwyer's gone here. Hi, I'm just listening to this stream while cutting 2 acres indoor rain on my ride-on. Matthew, soon to be a Jim's mowing your Lambie. Had to delay my franchise agreement signing because my Jim's trailer's not ready yet. So Matt's going to be a new Jim's franchisee, which is great. Now, Wayne Mason's gone here. Thanks for your response. And yes, some of your franchises have completed IICRC courses, training and accreditation. I knew they probably would have, because I knew there'd be people within their division and wanted to upskill themselves. If they want to do that, they can do that.
Look, we certainly encourage that too. Just the other Saturday, I came in and congratulated the people who'd done hort courses for mowing.
Yes, very true.
Which is fantastic. In actual fact, we do tend to find that people who've done extra training tend to make more money. And they certainly have a lot less trouble in the down period. Yeah. So we encourage extra training if you can do it, and it's great to keep on learning.
But it's not essential at the start, right? It's obviously something.
No, because we don't have most of the problems you have with carpet cleaning are the problems you have with other divisions, like not funding people back and not giving quotes and stuff like that. Overwhelmingly, there's not a lot of problems with the service quality.
Their service rating on product review I did check was really, really high, so that's why. But thanks for that, Wayne. Thanks for tuning in. It's great, and thanks for that really detailed question and response. Jason Pollock's gone. Is Jim's fresh in New South Wales? I don't think it is yet, Jason.
Not yet, but if you've got a potential franchisor there, that'd be great.
It's great produce as well. And Stuart Rainbow's gone. G'day, Joel and Jim, tuning in here. So g'day to Stuart, who's a franchisor for mowing and a good man. And Peter Woolsey's gone here with a question. What is the overall company's total worth? Question mark.
What, Jim's group, my company?
Yes.
I don't know what you're prepared to pay for it. Not a lot. I'm a lot more famous than I'm rich.
So saying the total. So let's have a crack. What is the overall company's total worth? Maybe.
I don't know. I mean, if you base it on the figures of what we make, maybe 20 or 30 million, not a lot really. Potentially it's worth a lot more than that. I would never sell it. I mean, you'd have to give me $1 billion to sell it because I love the company so much and I have a sense of mission. The reality of it is we don't make as much money as you think because it's basically, most of the money goes to franchisees. It's a pretty generous sort of system. They get like 80, usually typically about 92%.
And it's flat fee, isn't it? Just maybe make that clear. It's a flat fee.
Flat fee plus lead fee. Yeah. So it's not a percentage fee at all. So if you're making $1 million a year, your fees are probably less than a fraction of a cent, fraction of a 1%. And then most of that money goes to the franchisors. And then the money we get, most of it actually goes things like in IT development and all the kind of developments we're doing. So it's a fairly, I mean, I'm not poor, of course, but it's nothing like the wealth people think that I have.
Yeah, there's a lot of outside perception that obviously with you, it's obviously...
Yeah. It's like BRW trying to put me on the rich flyer. You gotta be joking.
If only you did have that money.
If I did, that would be... that'd be really comical. But no, I'm not even close.
No, it's a great one, Peter. I think you're a first-time commenter and asking a question.
So if you want to watch someone who's going to tell you how to become senior rich, you're probably in the wrong place. I think you should, stop watching right now.
He's also going here. Is there a Jim's haircut? Young bloke needs a chop out. I like my hair. I'm like Samson. If you cut off my hair, I lose my power. So I've got to keep it growing.
My wife says that I need a haircut. She likes to get your stomach getting too shabby.
Well, I know with the video stuff, Lee wanted to cut your hair before some of the videos we do.
Yeah, I know. Right.
Yeah. I'll lose my power if I get it cut, Peter, so I've got to hold on to it. Okay, so thanks.
You've got a sort of Boris Johnson cut, haven't you? It's a bit...
You like calling me Boris Johnson? Yeah, I don't... Yeah, it's a bit of a wild one. Yeah. It goes both ways.
Well, he deliberately messes up his hair. It's a deliberate style. It's not just the fact that he can't be too thin you don't a comb. He actually deliberately has it like that.
Mine's deliberately not like this at all. Just wake up and away we go. There's no thought behind it, Jim. I'll lose my power if I cut it off. Thanks for that one, Peter. So make sure you leave a comment, a question, or share the live feed. Here we're getting through a lot tonight. We got through every question or comment that was left on there. And if we didn't, I apologise. It's not coming up in my live feed. So ask Jim any question or comment, because I've got a couple of rippers here which were given prior via the Ask Jim submission page as well. So I've got one here, which was favourite country in the world? Question mark.
Australia!
Never had that one before.
Australia. Love Australia. The best country in the world. And I'll tell you why. Australia's the best country in the world. I think we've got a lot of benefits from Britain. And Britain, a parliamentary democracy and a certain attitude towards business.
Yeah.
And those constitutional monarchy, those kind of things. I think I'm a Republican, so that hardly counts. So we've learned a lot from Britain. But Britain is a very class-ridden sort of place. What I love about Australia is that sense of equality. That mateship. There's a wonderful story about there was a couple of Aussies went to France in the First World War, and this rather pompous British officer came up with this British. He said, "Are you here to die?" And they said, "No, mate, nah." He said, "I asked you a question. Are you here to die?" No, mate. Listen, you told me, "Are you here to die?" No, mate. We came here yesterday.
It's not about. I haven't heard that one. I haven't seen you doing that one. Actually got the Elka accent on as well.
I like the way I called him mate too. he's his colonel or something like that.
Yeah.
That sense of equality, that basic sameness. And I reckon actually, even though I never voted for his party when he was in office, I like Bob Hawke too, because he's that kind of bloke. He's the bloke that...
Well, I had a question for you around that. Was around favourite Prime Ministers.
Yeah. I love Hawke because even though I never voted for his party when he was around, but... he is the kind of bloke that he's the only person who's Australian who's gone to Oxford and come back with the broader Australian accent than he had when he left the country. And but when he would like there was a limousine, a government limousine when he was the Prime Minister, he would talk to the driver by addressing him by his first name and sit in the front seat and chat to him.
The most memorable scene with Bob Hawke, Skull and the Beer, obviously.
Yeah.
Skull and the Beer, when they won the Australia's Cup, obviously, if anyone who sacks the person the next day is a mongrel.
That's right. Well, I love Hawke.
That's interesting because you're obviously a very big Liberal man, but to have Bob Hawke.
Yeah, but that interesting thing too is somebody who is basically from the other side of politics who still really liked the Prime Minister, even he wasn't the one I would have voted for. That's the archetype of what Australia should be, and I think we're losing a lot of that too. That sense of basic equality. It's the old idea of the bush and mateship and stuff, which I reckon there's a lot of in gyms. We're a very Australian company. Our sense of robust equality, the fact that every franchisee has my direct contact details, and of course nobody would call me by anything but my first name. In fact, somebody will call me Mr. Penman. I say,
Mr. Penman.
Cut that out.
Imagine you'd hate that.
Cut that out when you're on gym. And just that, putting franchisees first. That sort of sense that, I often ask the trainees, who's the most important person in the room, and they tell me, yeah, we are. Not me, not the trainer, but the franchisee. You're the people. Everything's about you and your success. So I think gyms is a very Australian company. It's one of the reasons it works well here and also in New Zealand, which is very similar actually. They've got a bit of a strange accent. They can't say gyms right. They say gyms.
Oh, wow.
This kind of stuff. But apart from that, they're a great country too.
We've got some accents going on. We love our New Zealand brothers and sisters.
Yeah, we do.
Well,
but it's interesting, and I think that's why our peculiar model, which is very franchisee focused, works so well in Australia and New Zealand. We've had a lot of trouble getting off the ground anywhere else.
That's true. What other countries then, Jim? We've obviously said favourite country. Have you been around any other countries that you really liked? Or?
Well, after Australia and New Zealand, obviously.
New Zealand,
because they're almost as good as Australia, they've got very nice climate. So I like New Zealand. After that, yeah.
Where have you been? You've done a conference in Thailand. You went to America once. Dallas, wasn't it?
I've been to America, yes.
Yeah.
I've been to Dallas and Florida to an expo there, and I've been to the UK, and I've been to places. Yeah. I'd be happy to never travel outside Australia my whole life. In fact, outside of 100 k's from here would suit me very well.
That's very true.
I know we're having actually one of the people who's biohistory people are actually one of the biohistory believers is trying to set up. He's been talking to some of the senior levels in the Israeli government.
Really?
Because they're very concerned about the future of their country, and biohistory is a way of protecting that. So, actually, I said to him,
"You might have to go to Israel then." You might go to Israel.
Well, I said if you've really got some good people to talk to at that level, I'm happy to fly to Israel and talk. I hate planes, but
Wow, that's pretty big.
I've always been a big supporter of Israel. I think the only time I ever really wanted to volunteer for the army was when the Yom Kippur War came, and I would have volunteered to fight. I was just so concerned that Israel would be crushed.
Wow.
As a Bible-believing Christian, you tend to be very pro-Israel. It's just part of the... Well, you can't help but when you read the Bible all the time, because it's the story of Israel and the story of the Jewish people.
It's very interesting. That's what you watch every week. There's some new stuff. I had no idea about that. It's very exciting. So I guess there's some more questions and comments that are coming on the live feed. And thanks to everyone who's leaving. I'm going to try and rip through as many as we can. Peter Wolseley has gone with another question here. What is one far-fetched idea you had for a franchise idea? Question mark. What's one that you had as an idea? What's a far-fetched idea? I've got one in my head, which I know that's come up a few weeks before.
No. Most ideas aren't particularly far-fetched. The interesting thing about what we do is that nothing that we do is particularly weird. It's because it's the stuff that it's not. Gyms isn't unusual in what we franchise. It's just unusual in the way we do it. And the best ideas. I mean, what's original about mowing lawns for a living, or cleaning, or washing dogs, or fixing antennas, or any of these sort of things? The greatest gyms divisions are very, very pedestrian ideas.
Far-fetched. What's far-fetched idea? Have you ever had a far-fetched idea for one?
No. I like prosaic, ordinary ideas. I like giving ordinary services in a very special and a better way. That is what we do. And when we move too far away from the stuff that we do well, it's difficult. Like we had a bit of a go. I was involved in health clubs for a while, and that was really bad. A lot of our franchisors lost their shirts on that one because I didn't know what I was doing. And I couldn't give the same advice. Whereas we have divisions that have struggles now. We immediately know how to fix them and what to do about them and whether they're worth continuing with and stuff like...
The one I'll say that's not far-fetched, it is practical, but it might sound far-fetched, is the dog poo one, remember?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not saying it's far-fetched, but it's very practical, but it could sound far-fetched to some
it does
people.
sound a bit weird.
Yeah.
Poo Patrol. It's actually one of the ones I love.
What's Jim's poo controller?
Sharon Cottle's husband Ben is doing this trial up there in New South Wales.
They have great signage with the little poo emoji. I reckon they'll go viral, that one.
That's a far-fetched idea. It wasn't my idea, of course. It was something that Sharon came up with.
Yeah.
But I love it, actually. I said, you get this going, I'll take the regional rights for Melbourne for sure. I'd love to sell poo franchises.
So that's probably a good one there. So David McDonald's gone, just ordered a fruit platter from Jim's Fresh. That's great to hear, David. Please let us know or share us a photo. We get it in the office every week and we do love it. It's actually awesome fruit. It goes really quickly. I eat around half the box.
It makes quite a lot of difference, actually. It's surprising. It's only costing us about $85 a week to get these 2 boxes, and I think it makes a lot of difference to staff morale. You go around, there's always fresh fruit there.
It does, but then the divisional managers bring in their garbage food, so that needs to go.
I think a bit less now than it used to be. I think now that they've got the fruit there, they're a bit less.
Sneaking back. It's sneaking back.
Well,
needs to go.
Keep an eye on it. I always shake my finger at people who bring in the junk food.
Give me permission. I'm happy to chuck it in the bin for you. Doesn't bother me.
I don't think you can do that.
Misha Watson, who is from Jim Sensing. How many franchisees, not franchisors, are making $1 million a year? Question mark. Thanks for that comment and question, Misha.
Oh, I don't know. There's a few dozen of them would be my best guess. It's not
a few dozen. Yep, would be your best guess. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really hear about it very much, but you're just sort of surprised to hear. I know there's some Mowing guys in New South Wales that are doing incredibly well. I know John and Sharon in Brisbane doing fantastically well. I don't know exactly what they're turning over, but they got quite a few teams. So I know there's a few. I heard there's a paving guy who was doing multiple millions.
Paving? Yeah?
Yeah, that was a few years back.
Well, obviously, we don't know about the financials because it's none of our business, obviously, franchisees' financials because we don't charge them.
We don't ask, actually. Yeah. Sometimes it's quite surprising. You hear about things people making phenomenal money and you really didn't know.
We'd love to know if someone wants to maybe tell us Jim privately, I guess. Maybe, I don't know.
It's a bit of a dicey point. I mean, I always I always tell my franchisees to pay honest tax. And I always believed in myself. But at the same time, we really don't want to ask everybody.
But there would be, the answer is there is some. We would obviously.
Oh, there's a few. I know there's a few. It's not actually extraordinarily difficult because your rally rates are very good if you've got good workers on. And there's the point about it is there's so much work around. This is the reason too. John and Sharon originally, I think, from the Sunshine Coast, but because there was so much unserviced leads in Brisbane, I just said to them, why don't you take a franchise down here? And take up some of that extra work that they've got, which is great from our point of view because we don't like unserviced leads, and they're good operators.
That's true. And they were able to manage their business remotely with their workers and stuff, and they've obviously got that down pat.
Yeah, I don't know if they've moved to Brisbane, but I just know them because I often have contact with them. They actually we had a training session once where some of the really top franchisees like those actually came and taught other people what they're doing and how to do it. Which is great, and I wouldn't mind doing that again. Actually,
it's actually a good idea. It's a really good idea.
The nice thing from our point of view is that it really, because there's so much unserviced work around, it's fantastic. Every time a fencer comes on, I was telling them, you've got to put on workers. I want you to start a few teams.
Well, that's a different skill set though, managing a team. So that's stuff we can do about managing a team from the franchise perspective. That's a completely different skill set to managing a team to actually doing the work.
I'd love to run a training course. I really would on how it's done. We've done it in the past, but
something to look at.
Getting people to come to Melbourne is very difficult though because these people are so busy.
We could do video content if you wanted to. We could do video seminars or something.
It's not a bad idea actually. Yeah, I'll tell you what, I reckon it'd be a great one. Just to do something online and you watch videos.
Yep.
Get the people who are most successful and what are they doing and how are they doing it.
It could be a live webinar on here, which is private as well. You could have them sit here and people.
Even some of the stuff like this is not making $1 million yet, but this young bloke, what was his name?
Dan Cahill, yeah.
Dan Cahill was making $500,000 a year, and he's only been going
turning over 450 crane. He wasn't even in his second year. Revenue,
it's right from the beginning. I mean, he's the kind of guy who probably will make it to the end. So what's he doing? I know Matt, the guy around here, he's making very good money.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a great one. That's a great one, Misha. Thanks for leaving a comment or question. We appreciate it. That's awesome. Got the idea juices flowing now, that one.
Yeah, I do. I like that one.
Peter Wolseley's gone with another question. I love this question or comment because it's very appropriate. Has Jim ever seen the mock-up franchise logo memes floating around the internet? For instance, there's a Jim's landmine detection logo out there. Lol.
I've seen something. They always send.
We ran a competition on it. The Jim's logo comp. We obviously had Jim's cob loaf delivery coming. There's a generator still on Jim's.net.
I must have seen hundreds of them.
Your kids love it, don't they?
Yeah. Mostly they're pretty funny. Some of them strike me as a bit bad. I know they did one for Jim's Final Solutions. And I think
no good. No.
Joking about the Holocaust just doesn't tickle my fancy at all.
95% are generally good, and there's 5% which are probably
a little bit iffy. I mean, I know we had fun. I think one of my favourites was Jim's Hitmen when they had little guns on there.
I think you picked for the winners. You can actually see Peter on gyms.net. There's a logo competition, and the winners are announced there. I think you picked Snow White and the 7 gyms, and they had like
that was good.
Yeah, there's been a lot of them, but yes, Jim has seen them and he's definitely aware of it. The Dave McDonald's gone with a little joke here, I reckon. Somewhere in the Tasman Ocean, there's a line dividing the fish from the fush, which was a New Zealand.
That is true.
I love it. It's a nice one there.
Remember the fush? You called them fish and fish. Fish. It's mainly fish. I'm from Jums in New Zealand.
Now, we've got a New Zealand accent. We've had German, Irish, Scottishy type accent, Northern Irish. Now we've had New Zealand. We've had a real Ocker Aussie as well. Because your Australian accent before was like a real Aussie Ocker accent, which was good.
Yeah. How you going, mate?
How you going, mate? How you going, champ? And then you had the English accent as well. So I want to get to another question here that was submitted, and thanks for that one as well. It was actually on the live feed a lot easier. I've just missed it. Jake's forwarded it to me, so thanks for that. What's your best childhood memory from Jared? Your best childhood memory? Haven't had that one before.
Well, strangely enough, my father was on study leave in England for about a year when I was like 10, 11. And we took the boat across, which was a big thing in itself, going to all these ports like Aden and Naples and stuff. And then because my father's a big history buff, we travelled around the country every weekend looking at castles and cathedrals and churches and Roman roads and trying to look for flints in pathways and all kinds of stuff too. So that was an amazing experience, that one.
There we go.
Which is ironic since I really hate travel now.
That's true. Something might happen to you about it.
It was an amazing experience. I can remember more from that 1 year than the whole rest of my childhood, the first 14 years. Yeah.
Wow.
It was great. And I can still tell the age of a church approximately from the shape of the windows and the kind of columns they've got. So if you've got a round columns, then you've got a window that looks like that. You've got a Norman, which is about 1050 to 1150. Yep. And then you have the early English, which is just like that. Mm-hmm. And you have the decorated, which is multiple windows, like arches. And then you have the perpendicular, where you've got, I can still remember all that stuff. It's really, yeah. My dad was good that way.
Well, there's this question that was followed on, which is actually pretty related. What is the most memorable lesson you learned from your parents? ? Which is one that was submitted via the Ask Jim question box.
Well, my father, one of the things I often quote, in fact, the only thing from my father I quote is never gamble where you can't afford to lose, which is pretty good advice. So I just keep that in mind.
You do live by that one with your insurance habits.
Yeah, that's right. We take. I don't insure company cars because I can afford to, but I insure my buildings. I never bet the farm. I never bet the company on anything. I always take calculated risks, and often they don't work out well, but the ones that work out tend to make up for the ones that don't. So my parents were good, but the lessons you learn from your parents is they're so multiple. Your whole sense of ethics and hard work and everything else I owed to my parents. I know my mother was very proud of me, of the success, and she always used to wear Jim's jumpers and things like that. She was very proud of her son, and I was always close to my mum. Even when she was old, I was always visiting her in her nursing home and stuff. So
you had a great relationship with your parents, which is good to hear.
Well, my father was a bit dicey when I was a teenager.
Oh, really? Right.
I was very rebellious. I wouldn't speak to him once for 6 months. We used to argue.
6 months?
Oh, yeah. I was, but later on became good friends.
Good relationship with the mother. That's the main one.
Well, I miss my father too, because he died when he was 76, which was much too young. His mind was still very active, so that was sad. But my father had strokes right as early as his 40s, which I certainly haven't had, so I'll probably live a bit longer than him. But yeah, my parents are great. I owe them everything. I would have loved to. I would love to get the Nobel Prize and my mother to be in the audience. That was one of my great aims.
I'm sure your mum would be pretty proud of you seeing your face on multiple trailers. Probably got sick of it seeing everywhere. She's wearing.
I'm sure she still is proud of me, Mum.
Yeah, that's good to hear. That's great to hear. So we're gonna Peter Woolsey real quickly. We'll just ask this one. I know I'm asking a lot of questions, but I've always been interested in the company stories. And he's gone, who is the logo of the man based off? This man right here and behind me. That was probably 30 years ago. Peter, there's some photos in the page where you can look, which actually has Jim next to the trail when he had the beard. Yeah. Back in the day.
Just do Jim Penman images.
Correct.
And there's one of me against one of the old style logos of the trail. It's that picture. It's taken off there.
And there it is. Thanks for your interaction tonight, Peter, and everyone as well. So let's give the books out. So we've got 3 books. Now, what one resonated with you? I've marked down a couple just in case, but what one resonated with you? What anything off the top of your head, maybe? I've got a couple actually.
I think the one about the training was good. How many gyms are making $1 million a year or more? I love that one. Whichever one you'd like.
That was Misha.
That was Misha, was it?
Yeah. Misha Watson.
It's one of my favourite things. I'm always very proud of the people.
Well, Misha, can you let us know what one you want? Because that's actually prompted something that, like maybe a webinar for how to expand your business.
You obviously have this one, but you probably didn't have that one. That might be of interest.
So Misha will obviously which book or what would you like? Let us know. I marked down a couple actually because I like Wayne responding with such detail, and then you tuned in again and actually watched the reply, which is great.
Yes.
Wayne, I will DM you for something as well. Then there's obviously a couple more I've written down. Peter is a first-time watcher and he asked around 4 questions, which is great because we want questions or comments and obviously interest in the company. So what better way to learn about the company than this one here, which is Jim's actual...
But he's a franchisee.
Peter? I don't think Peter Wolseley is.
Oh, Peter Wolseley's not.
No, Peter Wolseley's not. Misha obviously is involved in the group. Wayne's not. Wayne's a member of the public who's obviously...
Just tell us what book you like.
Yes. And obviously there's one more actually. I'm going to give one more extra because I think we've had 2 books which didn't get picked up because they didn't tell us the address. The fencing franchisee prospect, Ryan Christopher in WA.
Yeah.
It's very appropriate that he receives this one.
Sure.
In the mail. So I will DM all those people for their details. So please respond so I can give them to you. We've had a couple of people not respond before. And next week on Jim's Live, it's open to the public. A training Wednesday night, 7 o'clock. We also have dinner with Jim on the 9th of December on a Monday as well.
So if you're in the training course, you're welcome. But if you're not, come along and you can even put $25 in and you have dinner with us.
We've had people from the public come before. Someone from Dog Wash, someone was interested in Dog Wash who actually came along to it. And we've got something special as well we're going to be talking about next week regarding the...
Yes. Well, I hope that's going to work out.
So do I, because it's the day before, so it needs to work out. All right. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We appreciate all your comments and interactions tonight. It's been awesome. There's been heaps. It's been a really, really good one. Learned a lot today. We've learned a heap with Jim about various things as well, and obviously getting education on churches as well, how to tell from the windows.
It's a funny thing. This guy's interviewed me for countless hours, and he still thinks I was still surprised him.
I'll tell you what. There's never been a week where there hasn't been something that's new. But obviously changes within Jim's as well. It's actually here first and as before on the news.
Yes, you do tend to get it before the newsletters or anything. Facebook Live is where the breaking news happens in Jim's.
Exactly right. So next week, 7 o'clock from Wednesday night. We appreciate your support, your comments, all your likes and your shares and interaction as well. And if you've got any suggestions for guests or anything you want us to do, like Derek gives us all the time, which is great, please email us or comment or DM the page. We take them on board. So have a great week and we'll see you next Wednesday night from 7 o'clock. See ya.